Good morning from the Isle of Skye, a rather breezy Isle of Skye should I say. So I've come out this morning for sunrise and I've come up onto the Trotternish Ridge. So I parked at the car park where you would park for the Kerrang. And when I arrived I had every intention of going along the path of the Kerrang, but however when I got there there was some really nice colour in the sky already, and this was about an hour and 15 before sunrise. So I had to kind of change my initial plan, so I've come up onto the Trotternish Ridge to where I've got a view of a hill which is called Dundoo. The colour in the sky is unfortunately gone. I'm living in hope. It's still probably about, let's have a look, get my phone out. Yeah, it's still about 25 minutes to sunrise. You never know, there might be a second wave of colour. The cloud's still up in the sky, so I'm ever so hopeful still. There is a little bit of colour over to the east, but it's actually gone from above mostly gone from above my subject there. So as you can see from the back of the camera shot from earlier, gone for a portrait composition just because of the colour in the sky that there was there at the time. Had to go portrait to get all that sky in the shot. If I'd gone horizontal, then it wouldn't have been so dramatic with the sky. So I'll stick with that composition at the moment. I will get light because there's a massive gap on the horizon over there. So I will get light at some point. As I say, it's still 25 minutes until sunrise. Sun's going to make its way above the mountains of Torridon. So for me, it's basically just a case of hanging fire. As I say, see if I get a second wave of colour above me. Whether that happens, I don't know. I did get one shot earlier. It was like a 15-second exposure earlier, or 30-second, I think I did something like that. Just because the light levels were so low, so hopefully I can pull out the shadows from the shot. So yeah, so it's just a case, like I say, it's a case of hanging fire and see what happens with the light. If and when that does happen, I'll talk you through my composition. Okay, so shortly after I finished the last bit of the piece to camera there, the sky did actually change colour again, so it's actually looking quite good at the moment. So if we look at the back of the camera, I've actually kind of gone against the rule of the thirds here, where because of excuse me, because all the interest is in, there's a lot of interest in the sky. Obviously I've had to point the camera a bit further up than I'd normally do, so I've probably got about 50-50 split of land and sky. But just because of that colour in the sky there. But I've got this rock in the foreground here that kind of just breaks up a little bit the foreground. Then I've got the hill of Dundoo, which is the kind of the inverted V-shaped hill, which looks a bit like a ski slope, I suppose, and that beautiful sky above. I've got a two-stop case reverse grad on, just because of the sky being so bright towards the horizon. Obviously there's the exposure difference as well. It's quite high at the moment. So settings wise, f8, and I'm currently at half a second. So I focused on Dundoo because that's my main focal point of the image. I'm not too worried whether this rock in the foreground is uber sharp. It's just there to kind of break up the foreground a bit. And I've got a little bit of rock either side as well. So yeah, it's a really nice shot. So I'm just going to keep firing them away while there's still colour in the sky. So as you can see over my left shoulder here, the sun has just come up. So it's starting to hit my subject now, the hill of Dundoo. So I've changed to a landscape orientation just because a lot of the higher cloud has now disappeared. It's moved over to the east actually. So yeah, it's actually hitting my subject now. So we're going to live view. So it's very similar to what I had before. Apart from the change of orientation. So I've still got the rock in the foreground, but not as much of it. Got about a third of sky, 2/3 of land. So following those, rule of thirds. And I'm also using rocks at either side of the of the frame to kind of just, yeah, to frame the bottom of the image, which leads you through to Dundoo. Because if I was at the rock in the foreground there, I just had a lot of empty space of just green grass. So using F8, I've still got my grad in because the sky, excuse me, the sky and the horizon is still very bright. So I've just got that reverse grad in place just to help control that contrast there. Now you need to be careful now because the sun, we're still in winter and the sun is still obviously rising in the southerly direction, so it's probably coming into my lens. So when I take the shot, I'm going to have to shield the side of the lens there. So I've got 2-second time just because of the wind. Just finding the 2 seconds time is better rather than using the remote release. So just make sure that my hand doesn't appear in the shot because I'm not shooting too wide actually, 28mm. So hopefully I get no lens flare. Oh, there is a little bit of lens flare there. Okay, what I may have to do is, so in these situations where you're shooting quite wide and if you get lens flare, what I sometimes I try and put myself not in front of the camera, but I'll show you what I mean. So what I'll do is, because I've got the 2-second timer on, so I'm trying to create that didn't work. It was too late. Okay, so I'm still getting lens flare, yeah, because I'm going downhill. So this isn't actually going to work. So what I was going to say is, I normally try and create a shadow with my body going over the lens to help reduce the lens flare. But because where the camera is, that's actually going downhill, so I'm not actually going to be able to create that shadow. Oh, I might be able to. Let's give this a go. It's just with a 2-second timer, and it's obviously trying not get yourself in the shot, which I did. Okay, I'm going to have to try and use my hand because I'm getting myself in the shot. So I don't know where that's coming in. So yeah, I'm still getting that one bit of lens flare, but let's try again, see if I can. It's just because the sun is still. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm still getting that lens flare. So what I'll actually do is I'll now change to a portrait composition. That should hopefully alleviate any lens flare. Now obviously remember to turn your graduated filter round when you're going from portrait to landscape. And I'm just going to move a wee bit over to my left now, just because of the rock in the foreground. Still going a bit more because I want that balance with that rock. Right, just need to fiddle about my tripod a bit. Now the good job, I've got 3-inch spikes on my tripod here because of this wind. Right, just level it off. Right, let's reposition my grad. There you go, and focus. So I have it in manual focus. Right, zoom back out, check my histogram. So it's f8, 1/20th of a second. And yeah, I'm still actually getting a little bit of lens flare, okay. Right, so I should be able to control it more now, because my obviously image is not quite as wide. Yeah, that's controlled the lens flare. Okay, so let's just check my focus. Yeah, so I've got a couple of shots in the bag. So the light's just going to, the sun's just going to continue to come further round into my frame. You can see over my left shoulder, like I say. So I'll grab a couple more shots and try and get out of this wind by going down to the main path of the Kerrang, see what I can find down there. Probably won't be able to find too much just because of the position of the sun at this time of year. Sort of an hour after sunrise, when there's not so much cloud in the sky like this, it just causes too much problem because you're almost shooting right into the sun. So I may not get anything. What I might actually get is a shot of the Kerrang itself, because the sun will be kind of hopefully lighting it up at this time of year. So yeah, so maybe get another couple of shots here and then I'll head down. it's only just over 1 hour after sunrise. I've come down the Trotternish Ridge almost to the car park for the Kerrang. I say it's only 1 hour after sunrise, and the light it's not harsh light, but it's, you know, it's I don't know how to explain it. It's a nice kind of sunny day now, shall we say. Almost picture postcard like, you know, there's nice kind of high cloud in the sky, high cirrus clouds. So I've come down to a viewpoint where you can be looking over towards the Kerrang. So composition here, so I'm using this 70 to 200mm lens because we're still quite some distance away from the Kerrang, and I'm currently shooting at 135mm. So it's not a complicated shot by any means. I've got the prison on the right hand side, part of the ridge which sits behind the Kerrang. You can just see the bit of needle on the middle of the frame. I say there's not a lot to it. Shooting at f8, 1/60th of a second, and that's it, job done. You know, there's some nice shadows there and whatever, but you know, I would want more for this image, you know, a bit more kind of moodier sky, or maybe even earlier on. So the thing is, you can't be at every spot for sunrise, you know, for the best light. You know, hopefully I got some really nice pre-sunrise images up at Dundoo, and hopefully some nice images as the sun came up, but I think the ones before sunrise, you had a really nice red sky. I think that's worked really nicely. So I say you can't be at every location, you know. Luckily for me, I'm on Skye now for the next 10 months. Yes, I'm working for Skye Photos Academy, guiding for photography workshops, but on my spare mornings, spare evenings or whatever, you know, I'll come out and, you know, come back to these locations where I haven't got that image, you know, that I have in my mind. You know, so if I was here probably first thing this morning, if there was, I'm not sure if there was colour there because I couldn't see it from where I was. So if there was nice colour above the, above the Kerrang, that'd have been really nice. Or, you know, if we've got the first light just hitting that, creating the nicer shadows, you know, the kind of the more subtle light, it'd be really nice. So I'm not even going to bother going on to the Kerrang this morning. I'll leave that for another video. You know, I've got to keep you interested. So yeah, so that's me for this morning. Probably quite a short video. But thanks very much for the response to my last video and the subscribes that I've got on the back of it, you know, the comments, the likes. So yeah, thanks for everyone for the support in the last video. Hope you like this one. I say I'm back on Skye for 10 months, so I expect to see more videos from here, maybe a bit more from mainland Scotland as well. So yeah, if you did like this video, give it a thumbs up. Any comments appreciated. You know, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon to be notified of when another video has been uploaded. Until that one, bye bye.